Kuda Kepang is a mythical dance, originating from the Indonesian island of Java and brought to the Malay Peninsula by the droves of Javanese immigrants who settled in the southern state of Johor. The origins of Kuda Kepang is mainly shrouded by myths and legends, but it is generally believed that a dance celebrates the spreading of Islam throughout Java by missionaries known as the Walisongo, one of whom was believed to be from the Malay kingdom of Champa, now present-day Cambodia. Roughly translated, Walisongo means the 9 missionaries. On the Malay Peninsula, however, some have added a new twist, maybe to make it more acceptable to Muslims here. They say the dance depicts the battles of the Prophet against his attackers, while others believe that it's a story of Imam Hussein, the Prophet's grandson's battles against the armies of rival groups in the Muslim civil war.
Okay, there are regional variations of the Kuda Kepang, some in Central Java, some in West Java, and some in East Java. It probably came to the Tanah Melayu, to Malaya, maybe during the 1600s, and through waves of migration of Javanese migrants. Malaysia has actually a very big population of people with Javanese ancestry. And you will find the Kuda Kepang in Malaysia today in places, mostly in Johor, where there's a very large population of Javanese heritage, communities with Javanese heritage. You also do find some in places, in parts of Selangor, I think. Yeah, with communities with Javanese heritage. But mostly in Johor, it's very much associated with Johor, especially around the Batu Pahat region, Muar, and Pontian, places like that. Yeah.
How close is the traditions of Kuda Kepang between the two countries, the ones in Indonesia, Java, and the one being practiced here, for instance?
I think it's quite close, actually. Of course, I think you can't quite, with traditional performance, it always evolves over time. So when we think of tradition, sometimes we think that tradition is something that is static and that is preserved whole and passed down through the generations, when in fact, traditions like the Kuda Kepang, even like the Wayang Kulit, it has actually a lot of individualistic expression. And so it does evolve both with the region and with the particular community in which it's performed, also with the particular performers. And so with the particular dancers or the dalang, they too lend something special to the tradition. And so it is always constantly being created and recreated as it goes down through the generations. So I wouldn't say that you can say it's an exact copy of what they have in Java, because so much is defined actually by the individual community that performs it. Although there are, of course, some very central elements and principles that do remain the same throughout. And those are the things that are really passed down: the knowledge of the dance, the legends, the ritualistic elements which you have to observe. Again, I think Kuda Kepang is not a purely ritualistic performance. There are ritualistic elements. But this is true of most traditional performances in Southeast Asia, if not in the world. Many of them have ritualistic elements to them. They're not necessarily a pure ritual. Yeah.
What is the story behind it? Is it Islamic origins? Is it Hindu origins or Buddhist origins, or is it animist?
I think there are elements of pre-Islamic traditions as well. But the interesting thing is that the Kuda Kepang is really associated now in the popular imagination with the coming of Islam to Java. So one of the main legends that is associated with the Kuda Kepang is the Walisongo, the 9 saints of Java. And the Walisongo are known to have spread Islam through Java in very interesting ways, actually. They were seen to, or they are remembered in the imagination, at least, of going into the villages on horseback and spreading the word of Islam through dramatizing the stories of Islam and the battles of Islam to the communities and converting them in the process. But they also did this with wayang kulit, with Javanese wayang kulit. And so the interesting thing about Javanese tradition, actually, and the association with the Walisongo, it's very much associated now, even though some of these things may have originated with pre-Islamic traditions. It's seen now as associated with the coming and the spread of Islam within Java, because the Walisongo used indigenous traditions that existed and really reinterpreted them and refashioned them to suit, well, I suppose the understanding of the local communities, and to reach out to them in a language that they understand.
The Johor Religious Department has issued a Fatwa, a religious edict banning the performance. But the practitioners have held firm that the performance must continue, believing it to be their sacred duty to preserve and continue this heritage.
Dia kata haram, boleh. Tapi dari mana puncanya haram, ya? Kita orang terima kalau betul haram. Dia orang buktikan betul, sah, sahih, kita terima. Dan apabila kita tanya, kenapa pansen perkara apa ni, pementasan, joget lambak, dangdut, apa semua, tak disebut haram, lagi dia bagi lesen. Jadi saya pun tak dapat nak kata diharamkan.
Pernah tak Jabatan Agama Islam datang kacau awak din ke apa ke?
Ada juga datang.
Dia orang kata apa ya?
Tapi apabila dia datang, kita tahu, kita pergilah, kita pergi jumpa dia direct lah. Dia kat luar gelanggang lah, bukan kat dalam gelanggang. Kalau kat dalam gelanggang nanti kita begini, takut pula dia kena.
Takut dia pun kena.
Takut dia pun terkena. Jadi kita bawa lah keluar.
Pada pandangan Wadin, ada tak benda Kuda Kepang ni bercanggah dengan Islam?
Kuda Kepang ni kalau dikirakan, kalau diikutkan, kira ada juga pencanggahannya, ada juga kebaikannya. Ada kebaikan, ada keburukan juga. Ada yang bercanggah.
Ya, kalau pencanggahan dia macam mana?
Pencanggahan dia, apabila dia mabuk, dia tak sedarkan diri. Dia takkan sedar apa yang dia buat, dia tak tahu.
So, mungkin buat benda yang tak sepatutnya orang Islam buat lah.
Kebaikannya, itulah tadi. Mengelakkan daripada gejala-gejala yang negatif lah, senang kira.
Dia macam perjuangan kita.
Perjuangan kami, dan seni ni terus diteruskan sampai bila. Kami tak boleh stop.
Tak nak stop.
Ini warisan kami. Ini budaya kami. Contohlah macam nak dihalang. Okey, kami dihalang tu apa sebab? Mungkin dia kata ada satu benda yang dia orang tak berkenan. Contohlah macam ada sikit benda yang macam bila pagar tu menggunakan apa-apa lah kan, benda-benda yang macam syirik kan. Okey, kami tak buat, kita ambil yang mana yang berkenan. Kita ambil tarian saja. Tak salah kan? Jadi apa yang menyebabkan dia macam benda ni jadi syirik? Macam bila kami kenal benda ni daripada sejarah, daripada zaman dulu macam mana. Takkan nak benda sampai sekarang kami main pun sebagai budaya awak nak anggap macam benda ni syirik. Sedangkan benda ni kalau tak diteruskan habis. Sangat sayang. Bukan senang. Bukan semua orang macam setiap orang boleh buat macam ni. Kami anak seni, macam mana pun nak diubah, itu pendirian kami. Macam mana kamu nak buat? Kami tak boleh buat apa. Ini pendirian kami. Memang tak dapat diubah.
The clash really is on just really the level of the official level, because the practitioners themselves and the communities themselves don't see a clash between what they believe and them being Muslim and what they do. They don't see these as non-Islamic traditions. They are actually part of their identity as much as Islam is a part of their identity. And for them, even the Kelantanese wayang kulit is not anymore. It may have origins in the Hindu epics, but they are not in the Indian epic of the Ramayana or the Mahabharata. But they don't, now as they have been interpreted and created in the Malay imagination, it's no longer that. It is really something that is Malay, and to them it's something that has absolutely no contradictions with Islam. In fact, they say, they say their Muslim prayers before a performance, and they are all actually very observant of their religion.